Maria, you're going to have a look at Wales' defence to begin with before we get to the attack in the second half.
Yeah, like this has probably been the issue for Ireland, hasn't it? The last couple of years, they've really struggled to score tries. They have created a couple of line breaks, but I think they've struggled against the Welsh defence, as do a lot of teams. You know, you saw it against England as well, really disciplined, gave up only 2 penalties despite defending for long periods. And they're really comfortable defending for long periods. Their line speed is massive. Sean Edwards has always put a massive emphasis on this. So they're here against Scotland, you can see them up. Coming off the touchline in particular is a really kind of dangerous time against the Welsh. You see Finn Russell has to go back inside, and Scotland are going to set up again and try and go again off that edge. I think Ireland will have learned lessons from this. Don't leave the ball in the air for a long time. Ali Price takes an extra step. You see Gareth Davies getting up off the line. Like in those situations, you have to just be like Ireland. People complain about Ireland being direct, but you just got to be direct there, or get your 10 on the ball and get him to link to that first forward carrying pod. In this instance, the ball is just in the air for too long. That massive line speed from Wales comes up and they get an intercept try. You know, they stack the front line with bodies. You know, there's often 13, often even 14, and they just leave one in the backfield here. You can see the width they've got in their defensive line there. And again, coming forward at line speed, they're looking for those big double tackles. You know, they want a 2-on-1 hit every time, dominate the collision, slow the ball even before it gets to the ground. But by putting so many bodies in the line, you are leaving spaces elsewhere. We've seen Johnny Sexton already with his cross kicks, his kick passes. He's going to pick out those spaces, and it's all about that decision making. You know, this time they have just a couple of guys in the backfield, so that space is on. You see here that Finn Russell actually goes to it. The kick quality, probably not great. It's probably in the air for too long, but you just see that space that's there for Scotland rather to go after. On this occasion, then the Welsh kind of change up their defensive system and they drop the 9 just in there. Gareth Davies goes into sweep. So now's your chance. You know, what's your decision maker seeing? He's seen a 9 in the back line, 2 in the backfield. So now's your chance to go to that edge and actually run your kind of attacking play to the outside edge. Scotland, some good hands. They get to the outside channel. They're able to kick a head down. Lee Halfpenny then comes across late and they're able to smash him over the try line. So it's just about reading that defensive setup, because Wales do tend to shift a little bit. Sometimes they'll have one back, so there's your crossfield kick, or put it onto the grass and bounce in your touch. If the sweeper's in there, maybe you have a chance to go to the width. And you mentioned how important Sexton and Murray are. They're really good decision makers, so that's a huge advantage for Ireland against that unbelievable defensive line speed. It was interesting to see what England did. They went extremely narrow in the second half. We're going to see a kind of series of pick and goes. Essentially, you're just trying to take some bodies out of that front line, because there's so many guys up on your feet that you're getting massive double tackles all the time. Here they go very direct around the ruck. I think we're definitely going to see this again from Ireland. Again, people kind of moan at this style of play, but you've got to sap bodies out of the defensive line to create that opportunity. So pick and go, short runners off 9, Conor Murray coming in the arc, carrying himself, and then eventually that creates the space out wide. You see here, if this pass goes to hand, sorry, I'll just pause it here. There's 3 guys on the outside against a 2. There's 3 there, and 2 defenders just here and here. They do have someone coming across on that sweeping line, but it is a chance for England. They created those chances quite regularly, but their execution on a poor, like, it was really tough, the conditions. I don't think it was evident enough on TV, but they just couldn't take those opportunities. And like, Wales are so comfortable getting to 20, 30 phases on attack. If you think back to 2015 in Cardiff, there was one passage with 32 phases. Ireland get a penalty, 10 more phases, and then Johnny Sexton goes off his feet. But they just love defending. They'll work all day, and it's going to take something a little bit extra from Ireland this time to break them down. In this example from England, this is phase 25. Owen Farrell, like one of the players of the championship so far, he gets on the ball just after carrying and takes kind of risky bridge pass just over the top of the edge there, and then also an unbelievable offload from Launchbury. But that's after 25 phases of battering, and it takes that something extra from the English guys to break them down. From Ireland's point of view, like, that's the big issue in the 22. Can they convert pressure? They've always had it against Wales. And the most encouraging thing against Italy, like, it's easy to write this off, but in terms of Ireland's development over the last 2-3 years, it's been the use of forwards as those link passers, and especially close to the try line, where it's so hard to get that extra metre. Like, you probably know yourself, diving for the try line, getting smashed by 3 guys around the ruck. And here you see Stander having a go, and then they're going to pick and jam with Jack McGrath and Porter on his shoulder, O'Mahony coming around. And again, you've probably seen so many times where Ireland have carried in this position. Dev Toner probably getting on the ball and just trucking it up. But this time, he just turns and he goes out the back door to Carberry. And Ireland have this nice shape set up. Like, it's not too intricate. It's nothing revolutionary, but it is a forward making a decision on the ball, obviously with a call out the back, and going the back door to Carberry. Then you get Bundyaki running that hard line to the outside of that defender, Stockdale coming around to accept the pass behind him, and they go in for the try. Like, that's encouraging to see from Ireland, so close to the try line. Yes, it's against Italy, and the challenge is, can they do that against like unbelievably organised, aggressive defence from guys who love making tackles. Interestingly enough, the Welsh themselves have kind of set the stall out in this regard. You see them here, they make a one-out carry, and then in a similar situation, it's Corey Hill here in the middle of the pod. Corey Hill, who's having an unbelievable championship after being completely slagged off during the Lions tour. I'll put my hand up. But he's been brilliant, but he turns and he just released that ball at the back, and they've held their width. Like, it's so hard to break defences down in those last couple of metres, and I think Wales probably show Ireland how to do it there, but can Ireland do it against the Welsh defence? That's a big question. They've developed that aspect of their game, but it'll be interesting to see if they can actually do it now on Saturday.